Hello, my name is Peggy Hamilton, and I will be discussing the infamous Guerrilla Girls and how they impacted the art world. Women who are feminist activists, artists who wear gorilla masks to hide their true identity due to the sexism in the art world. These women use their gorilla masks as a primary material for their artwork by exposing the art world of the stereotyping and ethnic bias. These masks play a major role because it helps hide their identity so they can be who they want without being judged based off their gender. According to the article, The Art World, each Guerrilla Girl took the name of a deceased artist or creative luminary who went unnoticed in the art world. One of those artists were Frida Kahlo, who was considered one of Mexico's greatest artists who began painting self-portraits. Another artist was Gertrude Stein, who was an American novelist, poet, and art collector. And Zora Neale Hurston, who was an American novelist and was known for contributions to African American literature. According to the Wikipedia article, in 1985, the Museum of Modern Art's exhibition had a roster of 165 artists that only included 13 women, and the proportion of artists of color was even smaller, and none were women. The curator of the show's exhibition, Kynaston McShine, revealed the explicit art world gender bias was present in the art world when he stated that any artist who wasn't in the show should rethink, quote, his career. And that's what started the Guerrilla Girl movement. The Guerrilla Girls demanded respect. This was the driving force behind their artwork, which was to stop the gender bias and discrimination. They made signs and started protesting for their rights. They even started booking interviews. During their interviews, they were always asked why were they anonymous. They said that they were anonymous because the art world was so small that they were afraid that if they blew the whistle on some of its most powerful people, that they would lose their careers. But mainly, they wanted to focus on the issues and not the personalities of their work. Most of the qualities of the Guerrilla Girl style were gender equality, challenging status quo, fairness, determination, humor, and engagement. These women were ambitious and they stood for their movement to create fairness in the art world and stop sexism. They started making the world more aware of the sexism and discrimination that was happening in the art world. Some people were not happy with the way they started to expose the truth. However, some people started to join the movement, and this created controversy. According to the New York Times newspaper, the art critic Jed Pearl, who writes for the neoconservative monthly The New Return, regards the posters as a positive force, but has reservations about their overriding emphasis on numbers. He stated, I don't think that social truth and ethics truth necessarily intermesh. With women arts the goals all the way to the top these days. Its subject is in some way feminism. I would hope that the Guerilla Girls are out for all women. The Guerilla Girls' interdisciplinary connections that can be made with their artwork was gender discrimination, racism, and sexism. The Guerilla Girls began to encourage women and artists of color to take a stand and not be defeated by discrimination and racism. They began to make the art world aware of the bad business decisions that they were making due to the racism and sexism. Interesting facts about the Guerilla Girls are one, the Guerilla Girls have been wearing masks for 30 years and their identities still remain unknown. It is so interesting because who can wear a mask for 30 years and not reveal their true identity? This shows that they were really passionate and really goal driven to make their point. Another interesting fact was they took the identity of deceased women who were going unnoticed in the art world. They were paying homage and they wanted to make sure that these women received respect that they should have received when they were alive. The last interesting fact was that they dressed up as gorillas. This fact was not only interesting, it was humorous. Like out of all the masks you could wear, you chose a gorilla mask. That is very interesting to me, but it's very different and it shows that they really wanted to stand out. During the 1980s, many women artists felt their careers were not strong enough where they could fight feminist battles and be artists as well. The Guerrilla Girls proved them wrong. These women were so ambitious and driven that they did not let anyone or anything get in the way or stop them from achieving their goal, which was to create fairness and be treated the same as men in the art world. Finally, in 1988, they passed a law that would deny federal funds to all institutions that discriminate in any of its operations. It was a huge moment for them and every woman and minority. They encouraged them to stand up for what is right and fight back against gender discrimination, racism, and sexism. And it helped pave the way for many women artists to be judged off their creative artwork and not be judged off their gender. The Guerrilla Girls will always be remembered for their huge impact that they made on the art world.